Friends, I am Dr. Meenakshi Mahur, Assistant Professor, Zoology, Sri Savliaji Government College, Manfia, Chittorgarh. Today my topic is classification of bacteria. I have divided this lecture, classification of bacteria or bacteria classification, into two parts. So today I am going to discuss part first. Actually, bacteria are classified on many criteria like shape, flagellation, composition of cell wall, optimum temperature of their growth, their mode of respiration, spore formation, and mode of nutrition. In today's lecture, I will discover this four criteria. So before moving towards classification, I would like to describe some points about important points about bacteria. So, what are bacteria? Bacteria are unicellular organism which belongs to prokaryotic group. Prokaryotic group means the organisms which are which lack a few organelles and a true nucleus. So, bacteria are unicellular organisms with without a true nucleus. And here it is the structure of bacteria. So, structure of bacteria comprises of capsule, cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, pili, flagella, ribosomes, plasmids, and nucleic region or nucleoid. So, here you can see capsule. Capsule is the outermost protective covering. Its function is protection and attachment. Then beneath the capsule there is a cell wall. This yellow colored layer is cell wall. Its function is to provide shape to a cell. Then underneath the cell wall there is a cell membrane. The dark brown one is the cell membrane. It surrounds the cytoplasm. Here it is a cytoplasm. It is composed of enzymes, salts, and cell organelles. Then here you can see pili. These are hair-like outgrowth which are used for attachment. Then there is one flagellum. If there are more flagellum, then they are known as flagella. So flagellum is the singular form. Its function is to provide locomotion. Then ribosomes, these are involved in protein synthesis. Then one more important characteristic of bacteria structure is presence of plasmid. Plasmids are non-chromosomal DNA structures. Then nucleic region or nucleoid. These are the region where the genetic material is present. It's a single bacterial DNA molecule. So it is just a gist of structure of bacteria. Now classification of bacteria. So I've already explained the classification of bacteria is mainly based on these criteria. These criteria are shape, flagellation, composition of cell wall, optimum temperature of growth, mode of respiration, spore formation, and the mode of nutrition. In today's lecture, I will discuss only these four criteria. So first is classification, which is based on shape. So in year 1872, scientists Kohn classified bacteria into four major types, which is depend on their shapes. So the bacteria may be cocci, bacilli, vibrio, and spirilla. So first is cocci. These are the bacteria which are unicellular, spherical, or elliptical shaped. They may be single or in aggregate form. They may be monococcus, diplococcus, streptococcus, tetracoccus, Staphylococcus or Sarcina. Monococcus are also known as micrococcus, and they are represented by single discrete round. So if it is a single, then monococcus. Example of monococcus is Micrococcus flavus. Then second is Diplococcus. So when cells of the Diplococcus divide once in a particular plane and after division, the cells remain attached to each other. Then they are known as Diplococcus. Example is Streptococcus pneumonia or Diplococcus pneumonia. Then Streptococcus. Cells divide repeatedly in one plane to form chain of cells. So here you can see the chain of cells. Example is Streptococcus pyogenes. Then Tetracoccus. It consists of 4 round cells and they are in a 2 planes at a right angle to one another. So these are 4 round cells and forming tetrad. Example is Gephika tetragena. Then Staphylococcus. So here cells divide into 3 planes and form a structure like a bunch of grapes and gives a irregular configuration. Example is Staphylococcus aureus. Then Sarcina. Cells divide in 3 planes but they form a cube-like configuration. And it consists of 8 or 16 cells, but they have a regular shape. Example is Sarcina ventriculi or Sarcina lutea. Then bacilli. These are rod-shaped or cylindrical shaped bacteria. They either remain single or in pairs. So here you can see chain of bacilli. Example is Bacillus anthracis. Here flagellated bacilli. Example is Salmonella typhi. It is a spore former bacilli. Example is Clostridium botulinum. Then Vibrio. They are the curved or coma-shaped bacteria and represented by single genus, that is a Vibrio. An example is Vibrio cholera. So here you can see this is a coma-shaped. Then Spirilla. These are the bacteria which are spiral or spring-like. Here you can see the shape is spiral. They may have multiple curvature and a terminal flagella. Example is Helicobacter pylori or spirochete, that is a Treponema pallidum. So this is about classification which is based on the shape. Now second classification is based on the presence of flagella, or we can say on the basis of flagellation. So bacteria may be Atrichus, Monotrichus, Lophotrichus, Amphitrichus or Peritrichus. So bacteria without flagella are known as Atrichus. Example is Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Here you can say there is no flagella. It is a Atrichus bacteria. Then Monotrichus. Here one flagellum is attached to one end of the bacterial cell. So here you can say this is a bacteria and only one flagella which is attached to one end of the bacterial cell. Example is Vibrio cholera. Then Lophotrichus. So here the bunch of flagella or a tuft of flagella is attached to one end of the bacteria cell. Example is Pseudomonas. Then Amphitrichus. Here single flagella or the bunch of flagella arises from both the end of bacteria cell. Example is Rhodospirillum rubrum. peritrichus. Flagella are evenly distributed all over the bacterial cell. Example is Bacillus. So this is the classification which is based on flagellation. Now, third classification is on the basis of composition of cell wall. This is discovered by H.C. Graham in 1884. So, on the basis of composition of cell wall, bacteria may be gram-positive or gram-negative bacteria. So, first is gram-positive bacteria. These gram-positive bacteria retain the crystal violet color and stains purple, whereas gram-negative bacteria lose crystal violet and stain red. So thus the two types of bacteria are distinguished by gram staining. So these type of bacteria are classified based on their ability to hold the gram stain. So the gram-negative bacteria are stained by counter stains such as safranin, and they are de-stained because of the alcohol wash. Gram-positive bacteria retains the gram stain and show visible violet color upon the application of iodine and alcohol. So why this happen? Gram-positive bacteria constitute a cell wall which is mainly composed of multiple layers of peptidoglycan that forms a rigid and thick structure. And its cell wall additionally has teichoic acids and phosphates. Teichoic acids present in the gram-positive bacteria are of two types, that is lipoteichoic acid and the teichoic wall acid, and the cell wall is known as murin. In gram-negative bacteria, the cell wall is made up of an outer membrane and the several layer of peptidoglycan. The outer membrane is composed of lipoprotein, phospholipids and LPS. Then the peptidoglycan stays intact to lipoprotein of the outer membrane, which are located in the fluid-like periplasm. Here, periplasm, which is present between the plasma membrane and the outer membrane. Here, periplasmic space. The periplasm is contained with the protein and degrading enzymes and they assist in transporting molecule. The cell wall of gram-negative bacteria, unlike the gram-positive bacteria, lack teichoic acid. So here you can see the presence of teichoic acid. Here there are no teichoic acid. And due to the presence of porins, the outer membrane is permeable to nutrition, water, food, iron, etc. So, the technique, that is a gram staining, was proposed by Christian Graham, who distinguished two types of bacteria based on their difference in their cell wall structures. So, the gram-positive bacteria retain the crystal violet dye because of their thick layer of peptidoglycan which is found in the cell wall of the gram-positive bacteria. So here you can see the very thick layer of peptidoglycan. Then in the cell wall of gram-positive bacteria, there is a presence of thick peptidoglycan, but a very small layer of peptidoglycan in gram-negative bacteria. So, the cell wall of gram-positive bacteria is composed of thick layers of peptidoglycan. The cell wall of gram-negative bacteria is composed of thin layer of peptidoglycan. In the gram staining procedure, the gram-positive cells retain the purple color stain. In the gram staining procedure, the gram-negative cells do not retain the purple colored stain. So, this is The classification of bacteria, which is based on the composition of cell wall. So the bacteria may be gram positive or gram negative. Gram positive bacteria retain gram stain, it is crystal violet dye and iodine, thick and homogeneous layer, which is composed of peptidoglycan units, teichoic acids, and very less amount of lipids. Example is Clostridium botulinum. Then gram-negative bacteria. Example is Escherichia coli. They remain unstained with a gram stain and thin layer, thin and they have a thin layer but complex one. Peptidoglycan unit very less, but they are rich in lipid. Now, classification of bacteria on the basis of optimum temperature of growth. So, bacteria may be psychrophiles, psychrotrophs, mesophiles, thermophiles, or hyperthermophiles. So, first is psychrophiles. These bacteria can grow at a 0 degree centigrade or below, but the optimum temperature of their growth is a 15 degrees Celsius or below, and the maximum temperature they can tolerate is a 20 degrees Celsius. They have a unsaturated fatty acids in their cell membrane, which gives fluid nature to the cell membrane even at lower temperature. Example is Vibrio marinus. Then psychotrophs, that are facultative psychrophiles. These bacteria can grow even at 0 degree Celsius, but optimum temperature for their growth is 20 to 30 degree Celsius. Then mesophiles. These bacteria can grow best between 25 to 40 degrees Celsius, but the optimum temperature for their growth is 37 degrees Celsius. Most of the human pathogens are mesophilic in nature. Example is E. coli, Salmonella, Klebsiella. Then thermophiles. These bacteria can grow best above 45 degrees Celsius. They are capable of growing in mesophilic range, hence called facultative thermophiles. True thermophiles are known as stenothermophiles. They are obligate thermophiles. They contain saturated fatty acids in their cell membrane, and so their cell membrane doesn't become too fluid even at a high temperature. Example is Streptococcus thermophiles. Then last one is hyperthermophiles. They have an optimum temperature of growth about above 80 degrees Celsius. Mostly archaeobacteria are hyperthermophiles. They have a monolayer of cell membrane which is more resistant to heat, and they adapt to grow in a higher temperature. They adapt to grow in high temperature. Example is Thermodesulfobacterium, Equifex, Pyrolobus femori, or Thermotegia. So this is the classification which is based on the their growth, means or at which temperature they can grow better, or what is the optimum temperature of growth. So today I discussed what are the bacteria, bacterial structure, then classification of bacteria. First is it is on the basis of shape, then on the basis of flagellation, then on the basis of composition of cell wall, and lastly on the basis of optimum temperature of their growth. Thank you.